Representa pa ako ngayon. Nakikita na po ba ito? Almond B?
Opo,
Narinig po
sir.
ba? Nakikita po ba yung pinapresent ko?
Opo, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so let's start the lesson with a prayer. Okay, so Ama namin Diyos, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon pong ito. Tinulot niyo po na kami po ay makadala sa meeting po na ito. Upang sa ganun, marami na naman po kami natutunan sa aming pong pag-aaral. Lahat po ng kaalaman na nagmumula sa inyo ay magamit po namin sa aming paglaki at sa aming pag-aaral. At lalo na po sa aming mga ginagawa pang araw-araw. Lahat lagi po namin hinihiling ito sa tanging pangalan po ng anak ng Panginoon Kristo. Nakila po namin tagapagligtas. Okay? Okay, so let's start our discussion. Our topic for today is all about particle nature of matter. Okay, which are solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, so background information. Excuse me. Background information. Okay, so we have here a matter. The definition of matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. So examples for matter are these three. Okay, we have books, the entire man itself, the book being held by man, and then these laboratory apparatuses, and then the mass. Another is the mass, which is defined as a measure of the amount of matter that the object has. So every matter has a mass. All matter has a mass. So siguro depende sa mass. Okay, so some are measured in, so mass is measured in kilogram. Okay, so let's move. Volume. Volume is a measure of the space that an object occupied. So as you can see here as an example, the water occupied the spaces of this container. Okay, so volume again is a measure of the space that an object occupied. Okay, so this is called as volume. Okay, so kung ano yung space na inoccupy, okay, ni liquid is what we call volume. Next is density. Density is the compactness of an object, which is related to the number of particles found in a given space being occupied. Okay, so we have an example here, density of matter. So this is how tightly packed matter is, the amount of mass in a given space. Okay, so gas is less dense than solid. Okay, so solid is more dense than liquid and gas. So again, the density is the compactness of an object, which is related to the number of particles found in a given space. So this is the space. These boxes are the space. Okay, so they have spaces inside it. Okay, so we have three examples of matter occupying these three. We have gas. Of course, they have different compactness. Okay, so as you can see, the gas are far away from each molecule. Okay, liquid has spaces in between, and that solid in, so as you can see, inside the solid, maybe they have space but they are restricted to move. May mga counting spaces. Narinig pa rin po ba ako?
Opo,
Sir,
sir.
ang mahina po. Opo, sir.
Mahina. Sige, dikitin na lang yung mic ko. Yan. Yan ba? Mahina pa rin? May gumagawa kasi rito
Okay
sa ano.
na
Pasensyahan nyo na kasi siguro humihinga ako, baka marinig nyo rin. Ay, nako. Okay, so we have here illustration of subatomic particles, which are known to you. Electron, proton, and neutron. Okay, so siguro nung, excuse me, elementary kayo, nalaman nyo na ito. Electron, proton, and neutron. Electron has negative charge, subatomic particle, and proton has positive charge, which are together with neutron inside the nucleus. So this is a nucleus, okay? So in the middle of it, we have two subatomic particles, proton and electron. Proton and neutron, sorry. And then electron is just away from the two. Okay, so development of atomic theory. So we have Democritus first, 460 BC. So Democritus proposed. Okay, so Democritus proposed that all matter is composed of small units called atomos. He did no experimentation, but his idea was kept by Lucretius. Okay, that was 400 BC, 460 BC. After him, okay, so we had John Dalton. Excuse me. Agreed that matter is composed of atoms, which he believed was indestructible. He also said that compounds are atoms of different elements combined chemically. So it pertains to atoms. Okay, so kaya lang may kanya-kanya silang additional information. Kasi syempre, as time passes, meron mga nade-develop na mga machine na pwedeng makapag-obserba. Okay? So, nakakatulong yun. Kaya nakakapag-add sila ng mga information. Little by little. Okay, so we have Dmitry Mendeleev. Arrange and organize some of the known elements in his time through a periodic table. Okay, so the arrangement was based on the atomic numbers of the elements. Wait. Okay, so kung familiar kayo sa periodic table of elements, nakita nyo rin yan, alam ko rin. So sabi rito, periodic table was based on the atomic numbers. Okay, they are arranged. After him, Dmitry Mendeleev, we had Eugene Goldstein discovered the positive particles in which he noted that they had charge. Okay, equal but opposite to the electrons. So it is somewhat related to them. Nag-a-add lang talaga sila. Okay? Kasi pataas na yung taon at panahon. Okay? So in year 1885, si Eugene Goldstein. Okay, we have 1896, which is Henry Becquerel, discovered the radioactivity that earned his Nobel Prize. So also he discovered the ray emitted from uranium caused gases to ionize. So in year 1896. Okay? Okay, pag sinabing Nobel Prize, ito yung mga award para sa mga extraordinary research or ano ba ito? Wait. Okay, so let's proceed. After Becquerel, we have 1897, John Joseph Thomson discovered the electrons by cathode ray tube experiment. So ito naman si J.J. Thomson. He used a tube, okay, which is a cathode ray. So next is 1907, we have Ernest Rutherford demonstrated the modern model of an atom in gold foil experiment. So he concluded that all positive charges are centralized while negative electrons excuse, orbited the nucleus. So siguro may mga gamit na sila niyan. That's why they said those information. Okay? So next is 1910, Robert Andrews Millikan. Millikan. Use oil drop experiment to determine the charge of a single electron. Next, 1913, we have Niels Bohr. The outer orbits in an atom holds more electrons than that determines the chemical properties of an element. Okay? So the same year, we have Frederick Soddy explained that radiation came from the isotopes, transmutation of an element. Next, in year 1925, we have James Chadwick discovered neutrons. They help to balance out protons in the nucleus. Next, Werner Heisenberg explained that one can never know the exact location of and the energy of an electron simultaneously in his uncertainty principle. Okay, in year 1932. So let's proceed. Okay, so we have John Dalton's atomic theory, wherein he proposed these theories. Okay, so number one is all matter is made up of atoms. Okay, atoms are indivisible and indestructible. When we say indivisible and indestructible, hindi na siya pwede pang mahati sa pinakamaliit pang parte. And indestructible means, um, excuse me, hindi nasisira. So number two is all atoms of a given element are identical in mass and properties. Okay, so they're somewhat similar. Number three is compounds are formed by combination of two or more different kinds of atom. Okay? So makikreate lang daw yung compounds when they're formed or combined. Okay, so next is number four. Chemical reaction is rearrangement of atoms. Okay? So only chemical reaction can rearrange the formation, okay, of atoms. So models of atoms. So earlier I mentioned the different personalities, okay, that of course used different models or illustrations. For Democritus, he used these shapes, okay, to describe the atom. Okay, so atom is tiny, hard, and uncuttable. The shape of atom explain behaviors of elements. Atoms of water are round ball. Atoms of fire have sharp edges. Excuse. The same as this. John Dalton used solid indivisible sphere, could not destroy or reconstruct. So he used this. Next, J.J. Thomson, atom is a sphere of positive charges. Okay, so when we say sphere, this is almost a circle, but not perfect. Okay, parang ganun. So, sphere of positive charges. So, as you can see, we have positive charges containing few negatively charged particles called electrons. Siguro somewhere inside the atom um, has negative, okay, or has electrons. Like raisins in the plum of pudding. Okay, parang pag bumili tayong tinapay, some bread has random places, di ba? Parang ganun. Hindi mo alam kung saan nakalagay yung mga pasas. Next is Rutherford. Divisible units composed of positive charges concentrated in the nucleus with negative charges orbiting around the nucleus. Okay, so this is what Rutherford used for his explanation about subatomic particles and atoms. Okay, which is the nuclear. He used nuclear model. Okay, Niels Bohr. Electrons in atom are restricted to certain circular orbit about the nucleus, similar to the planet's orbit around the sun. So he used planetary model, parang solar system. Okay, wherein the sun is in the center, and then electrons, some of the electrons which are considered planet, halimbawa lang, inihalimbawa niya lang, are rotating around the nucleus. Okay, Schrodinger. A probability to find electrons within the space surrounding the nucleus. The cloud is denser where the probability of finding the electron is high. The cloud is less dense where the probability of finding electron is low. So as you can see, we have two kinds of cloud here. Less dense, which are outer cloud, and then the high dense cloud, wherein you have a higher chance to finding electron inside the cloud. Dito naman may electron din sa cloud na to, kaya lang less dense, parang mas mahirap daw i-locate yung electron. Okay, so let's proceed. Atoms are the smallest particle of which substances are made. Next is a molecule. Molecule is a particle consisting of two or more atoms combined together in a specific arrangement. They are also measured in angstroms. Okay, this is unit. Okay? So parang kapag nag-solve tayo ng math, science, physics problems, we have units, tama ba? Used. And teachers often telling us na we should include units as we solve the problems. Tama po ba yun? Almond B? Tama po ba yun? Narinig pa po ba ako?
Opo, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Opo.
Okay, so compounds are molecules composed of atoms, different elements chemically combined. Okay. Okay. So lahat daw ng compounds, okay? Okay, molecules. They're molecules composed of atoms of different elements chemically combined, not physically. Kasi magkaiba ang physically combined and chemically combined. So parang in bare hands, you cannot combine different atoms in your using bare hands. Pero if you use chemical reaction or chemically combined, wherein gagamit tayo na iba-ibang substances, we use fire, we use ganito ganyan. Okay? That is how we combine atoms, not physically. So magkaiba sila. So next, element, substance made up of only one specific type of atom. So we will call this element if they only have one kind of atom. Let's say oxygen. This is an element. These are elements. Oxygen, hydrogen, carbon. Element, element, element. Element, element, element. Compound, excuse me po, substance made up of different elements joined together by chemical bond. Okay, so bonding elements will produce compound. Let's say we combine carbon, one atom of carbon and two carbon of oxygen, will have carbon dioxide. Water, for us to get water, we must combine, okay, one atom of hydrogen and two atoms of oxygen for us to get water, H2O. And sugar, for us to produce sugar, is we must have 12 atoms of carbon and 22 atoms of hydrogen, and O, which is oxygen, 11 atoms for us to produce sugar. So when we say sugar, we may say table sugar. Yan. Yun yung asukal talaga na ginagamit natin sa pagtimpla ng kape. Okay. So this is periodic table of elements. So I know you're familiar with this, and you're familiar with the numbers on the top left corner of the box or each boxes. So they are numbered. Sabi kanina, di ba, based on their atomic number earlier na sinabi ko. Sabi ng isang scientist. Okay? So phases of matter. Anyway, this periodic table of elements will be discussed. Siguro pataas ang level. Pag nag-grade 9 kayo, ibang discussions na naman yan. Okay? Anyway, introduction lang naman to. So let's move. So phases of matter. So we have three phases: solid, liquid, and gas. So for solid, it holds shape, fixed volume. So as you can see, if you are pertaining to the phase of matter, which is solid, it has fixed volume and then hold shape, okay, dahil sa solid siya. What about liquid? Shape of container, okay? Kung anong shape ng container, ganun si liquid. Tama po ba? Depende siguro sa dami. Okay? So, free surface, fixed volume. Okay? Next, shape of container, volume of container. Okay? So, kung anong shape ng container, ganun din yan. Yung ina-occupy ng molecules niya. Volume ng container, ganun. Kung anong volume ng container, ganun din ang ina-occupy niya. Okay? So, the reference comes from NASA. So, we have comparison of solid, liquid, and gas. So, the property for solid, liquid, and gas, we have shape and volume, compressibility, density, arrangement of particles, movement of particles, attractive force between particles. For solid, the shape and volume have definite shape and volume. And for liquid, we have it takes the shape of container have, okay, and then have definite volume. Next is the gas. So when we talk about the gas, the shape of the gas occupies the shape of the container. How about the volume, sir? So the volume of the container, of course, takes the space by the gas. Okay, so compressibility, non-compressible. Slightly compressible, high compressible. Next, for the density, earlier we have said it is highest density. Okay, so liquid high also, and then the gas low. So for the arrangement of particles, so when we talk about the molecules of, when we talk about the density, the arrangement of particles, it pertains to molecules. Okay, together with other molecules. Okay, so they're very close but random, and far apart. Next, movement of particles. Of course, as we describe the molecules of solid, because of the molecules are very close, they tend to move but very slow. Okay, so and then the liquid, because of the space given or they can move moderately fast. Then the gas is the fastest, very fast, because they are too apart from each other. Attractive force between particles, very strong, intermediate, and weak. Okay, let's proceed. Mahina pa rin po ba yung boses ko?
Hindi naman po, sir, sakto.
Sakto lang, sir.
Yun, sakto. Nice. Let's proceed. Matter. So matter can be classified into three: solid, liquid, and gas. Solid can be element and compound. The same with liquid and gas. Okay, they can be element and compound. Gases can be element and compound. For solid, element is atom. Okay, is made up of atoms. Compounds is made up of molecules. For example, for solid, the iron atom is the same as this. They're compact. Fe. Okay, Fe is the symbol for iron. And the molecule found in the solid is the same as this, 4 molecules. Okay. Next is liquid. Liquid can be element and compound, and element for liquid is made up of atoms, also the same with solid, and the compound is made up of molecules, the same as solid also. But the atoms, formation of atoms for liquid is the same as this, atoms of mercury. Di ba nga dinescribe natin ang liquid has spaces in between molecules. Tama po? So, they look like this. Not like this kasi solid sila. For the atoms of liquid, this is somewhat same as this, atoms of mercury. Kasi liquid, parang liquid siya. Hindi pala parang liquid talaga siya. Molecules for water is the same as this. They're connected. Okay. Next, gas can be element and compound. And the element is made up of atoms and compound is made up of molecules, the same as the rest. Same as solid, liquid, and gas. But for the gas, example for gas, example or illustration for the molecule, the atoms of element is the same as this. What is this? Oxygen. Okay, so oxygen. This is the atom of the gas. And this is a molecule of the gas for carbon dioxide. Di ba gas ang carbon dioxide? Tama po ba yun?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so let's proceed. Salamat. Oops. I have here... True or false? Maybe I'll give you this after kasi parang ano natin. We'll be jumping to another presentation. I'll be discussing 2 week topics or 2 week topic. Excuse me. Ito po, nakikita na po ba itong pinapresent ko?
Hindi pa po, sir.
Sir.
Bakit kaya? Sige. Ito kaya? Nakikita niyo na po?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so yung inside na activities inside the PowerPoints, okay, should be answered. Iba pa yung bibigay ko sa inyo na Google Form. Pasensya na kasi lahat tayo nagagahol. Sino bang hindi nagagahol, di ba po? Marami rin tayong ginagawa. Alam ko naman yan. Bilang estudyante, bilang teacher. Okay, pare-parehas tayo. Kaya lang, may mga time lang talaga na, batawag doon? Hindi talaga natin makontrol. Okay, ito. Okay na po ba yung pinapakita ko?
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay, so the next topic would be particle nature of matter. It is just a continuation of what I've discussed earlier. Solid, liquid, and gas. So as you can see, we have the formation of molecules for solid and liquid. So as you can see, for liquid, it has spaces. That's why they move randomly. And for the gas, random din sila and they are so excited. Solid, kaya ganyan ang movement nila kasi nga they are compact, compressed. Tama po ba yan?
Opo.
Opo.
Okay, so thank you sa mga sumasagot. We have 3 states of matter. We have solid, liquid, and gas. Okay. Okay, so alam ko familiar kayo dyan. Let's proceed. Compressibility is the capacity of something to be flattened, reduced in size by pressure. So example for compressibility is the one you are watching on the right side of the monitor. This one. So, lahat ba ng compress. Let's see. So we have intermolecular forces. Forces of interaction between molecules. Let's say this is molecule combined chemically, of course. And then this is another molecule. Okay. Do they have forces in between? Yes. This one, let's say. Limbawa lang tayo. So they also have forces in between. Arrangement of molecules. Okay, for solid, paulit-ulit natin sinasabi ito, they have restricted movement because of the space in between atoms of an element or atom of a certain matter. For liquid, they move freely. And gases, kung mapapansin ninyo, they are excited kung saan sila pumupunta. Bakit ba sila nagiging excited, sir? It is because of the energy being received of every molecule or atom of a matter, let's say gas. Lahat ba ng ng phases, sir, merong energy na pwedeng ma-receive? Yes, that's why they move. The same with this movement. Kaya pansinin niyo yung movement ng solid, motion of particles, vibration. So yung energy being received by solid could make the particle or the formation of their molecules move. Let's say a table. A table is an example of solid, di ba? Once you tap the table, it receives the energy. Okay, wherein it travels. The sound travels, the energy travels. That's why they move. Liquid can receive energy also. So they slide past each other, move around each other. So if the liquid, let's say, turned into gas because they receive energy, they are converted to gas. Kaya sila nag-escape. Example for gas is when you boil the water, di ba? Nagpapakulo kayo ng tubig. The smoke inside which are escaping sa mismong takure is the gas that has kinetic energy or heat energy. That's why they're so fast. Okay, so let's continue. Ability to flow and compressibility. For solid, nope. And compressible, nope. Liquid, they are able to flow. Compressible, they can be compressed. Okay, for gas, yes, they flow. And compressibility for gas is yes, they can be compressed. Properties for solid, liquid, and gas: volume, shape, motion, particles, spacing of particles, ability to flow. It's just yes or no. Compressible, yes or no. Thermomolecular forces, if they have. For solid, let's start with solid. Volume, it has definite volume. Liquid, definite then, and gas is indefinite. Okay, so next, shape. It has definite, indefinite, and indefinite. For motion of particles, for solid, vibrate about fixed position. Motion of particles of liquid, they slide past each other, move around each other. For the motion of particles for gas is they move freely and quickly in all direction. Okay, spacing of particles, little empty space between particles, kaya sila compact. Next is liquid, is more little empty spaces between particles. So for gas, large empty space between particles. Next, do they have ability to flow? For solid, no. For liquid, yes. And gas, yes. Are they compressible? For solid, no. For liquid, yes. And for gas, we have yes. Intermolecular forces. We are talking about the forces in between molecules. They are very strong for solid and a bit strong to moderate for liquid and weak, lower weak for gas. Let's move. This is water. Water. So water can exist as solid, ice. Okay, liquid or the water or gas, vapor or gas. Adding heat can cause ice, which is solid, to melt to form water, which is liquid. Removing heat can cause water, liquid to freeze or to form ice, a solid. So liquids have characteristic temperature at which they turn into solid, known as their freezing point. Okay, of course, meron tayong ibang mga bahay dito, meron mga refrigerator. So, alam niyo naman na sinasabi ko when is a time liquid turns into solid is their freezing point. Okay, naka-convert ang liquid to solid when they reach the freezing point. Okay, nagiging liquid naman si ice. Okay, once they melt. And it is what we call melting point. The melting point should be the same as the freezing point. So, pwede ba ako magtanong? Dito. Nakikita niyo po ba ito? Ano po bang nakikita ninyo? Yung pinapresent ko?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so
Opo,
I'll be
sir.
calling names and then you will share your experience about what I'll give you. Can I call Izil? Is Izil here? Izil? Do you hear me, Izil? Can I call iba na lang? Who wants to be called? You may raise your hand. Kasi may raise hand naman dito. Tama po ba? Have you experienced holding an ice for a very long time? Can you share experience about it? Kuwari, pinabili ka ng yelo ng nanay niyo or meron kayong nagtitinda kayo ng yelo, then you just tend to hold the ice for a very
Pwede
long
Tagalog,
time.
sir?
Yes, of course. Sino po ang pwede? Si Miss Geraldine? Sorry, not Geraldine. Claire? Gena, di ba to? Just raise your hand kasi
Opo,
may
sir.
up. Sige, Gena di. Can you share your experience about holding ice? Sabi kasi rito is freezing point and melting point should be the same. Do you experience that?
Opo, sir.
Sige nga, pwede mo bang kwento mo sa amin? Ano yung naramdaman mo na experience mo?
Pag sobrang tagal, sir, malamig. Tapos pag tanggal na yung yellow sa kamay, sir, namumula siya, tapos medyo mainit.
Yun. Okay, so thank you. So I think this is the same experience to others na sabi kasi rito is in theory, melting point and freezing point, okay, of solid should be the same. So na-experience ko kasi yan parang nagkaroon kami ng challenge yung bata kami. Kahit naman siguro ngayon kung hahawakan mo yellow, let's say, for a very long time, sa umpisa malamig, pero kapag tumagal na parang umiinit na siya same na siya ng feels ng init at lamig. Hindi mo na, minsan nga nalilito ka na kung mainit ba o malamig. Okay, so let's continue. Boiling is a process by which liquid turns into vapor when it is heated to its boiling point. The boiling point is the temperature at which boiling occurs for a specific liquid. So for every liquid, they have also their boiling point. Hindi lahat ng liquid has same or have the same boiling point. Let's say the boiling point of water is 100 Celsius. 100 Celsius to other liquid is not their boiling point. Nasusundan po ba?
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Very good. So next, freezing point. So as you can see, we have Squidward freezing. Okay, so the freezing point of water, the temperature at which water changes from liquid to solid. Okay, so as you can see, 0 degrees or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Sabi dito, for Celsius temperature, freezing point would be 0 degrees. If you're using Fahrenheit temperature, you must have 32 degrees. Sulat natin. 32. Okay, so let's move. Boiling point. So the temperature at which a liquid boils and turns into vapor. So as you can see, this person is boiling the water. Or, sige, boiling water na lang. Okay, so it reached the boiling point. That's why the water inside it turned or converted into vapor or gas. That's why it is escaping. Di ba sinabi ko sa inyo, the molecules of gas is too excited or they are excited because they receive energy. Okay? And they convert it to gas. So that's why they escape for every holes she have here. Okay? So, alam ko naman na alam niyo yung sinasabi ko. Boiling point. For Celsius thermometer, water freezes for 0 degrees Celsius. For Celsius yun. For normal temperature for Celsius thermometer, we have 37 degrees. Pag umangat ka pa dyan, let's say for 37.5 is, or let's say 38, that is not normal na. Pwede natin sabihin na sinat ka na or may lagnat ka na. So 100 degrees Celsius, water boils. If you have Celsius thermometer in your house, you may use it or you may use it for your experimentation, boiling the water or determining your normal body temperature. Next, if you have Fahrenheit thermometer, the degree Celsius or the measurement for for the water to freeze is 32 degree Fahrenheit. For normal body temperature for Fahrenheit thermometer is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. For Fahrenheit thermometer, water boils at 212 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, what if, sir, I don't have Fahrenheit thermometer and I just want to convert Celsius thermometer for Fahrenheit? Add ka lang ng 212. Sorry, not add 212. 112 na lang pala, sorry. Not 212. Add 112 for you to get 212 degree Fahrenheit. Okay? So water boils. If you only had Celsius thermometer, just add 112 for you to get 212 degree Fahrenheit for Fahrenheit thermometer. And for normal body temperature is you will add wait, 68.6, I guess. $98.6. 61.6 pala. Okay, so 61.6 for you to have degree sorry. Excuse. 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Excuse. And for water, for you to convert 0 degrees Celsius as the water freezes, you may add 32 degree. Okay? For you to get 32 degree Fahrenheit. Okay? So, yun lang ang gusto kong malaman ninyo. For you to convert Fahrenheit thermometer. If you only have Celsius thermometer sa bahay nyo. Okay? So, nagkakaintindihan po ba? Nandyan pa po ba kayo, guys?
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay, thank you po. So let's move. We have Celsius, Kelvin, and Fahrenheit thermometer. For boiling point of water is 100. For Kelvin, we have 373. As we said earlier, 212 Fahrenheit, Kelvin, Celsius. So for freezing point of water, 0 degree Celsius, 273 degree Kelvin, and for Fahrenheit is 32 degree Fahrenheit. And for absolute zero is 273 degrees Celsius. For Kelvin is 0. And then 460 for Fahrenheit. Okay? So next, change of state. So any solid state, okay, or solid phase or state na lang pala, can be changed into different to different state. Once you apply heat, then it reaches the melting point. It can be converted into liquid. So once you apply another heat which reached 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point will be converted into gas. Tama po ba yun? Almond B?
Opo,
Tama po ba
sir.
yun? Okay, so once the gas
Opo, sir.
okay, becomes heavy, okay, so thank you. At ulan na siya, let's say, will be converted eventually to liquid again. Okay. So next is if the water, okay, here converted as the gas converted as liquid, okay, kasi lumamig sa atmosphere at umulan, it will become liquid again. Tama po ba yan? And then it reaches the freezing point, will turn again into solid. Okay? So let's move. So nga pala, this is the reference comes to my colleague, which is Sir Tipen. And thanks for him. Okay? So I will be sending you, wait. Stop sharing ko na pa. Okay, do you have questions? You may ask.
Wala po.
Paano wala po? Nga pala, marami po sa inyo ang hindi ko pa nabigyan ng grades. Alam siguro ng bawat isa rito yan. At totoo nakatulong yung pinagawa ko sa inyo at yung mga ginawa niyo mismo. Mas lalo nakatulong yung subscription for the YT channel, which is direct to the card. Okay. This is educational. Okay. As I said earlier, sa mga wala pong grades pa, i-add ko ulit yun sa inyo. Okay. Kasi may mga nagmamadali po na magkaroon ng grades. Hindi naman po ako tatakbo for that. Kinukuha ko lang sa inyo yung mga kulang ninyo na requirements for you to have your grades, which are written and performance. I will always post my records, kaya lang nakatakip yun, syempre. Alam nyo na, makikita nyo naman kung may kulang kayo o hindi. Tama po ba yun? Tama po ba yun? Parang hindi na ako narito.
Opo, sir.
Okay. So, sa mga wala pang grades, pasa nyo po yung performance nyo. Makikita niyo naman yung kulang nyo. This third grading again. Okay? So at the end of April, I guess, matapos na naman ang third grading kaya tayo nagmamadali. Lagi naman tayo nagmamadali. At sanay na tayo ron. Kaya lang wag naman masyado. Okay, so do you have questions to ask?
Wala na po, sir.